You're listening to the RMPodcast, the official podcast of Red Moon Productions. Here are your hosts, Brandon Davidson, Keith Cheatham, and Sean Sebastian. Enjoy.
Hello and welcome to yet again another episode of the Red Moon Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Brandon Davidson, alongside our normal new host, Sean Sebastian, back in the studio this week, and
John Dacre.
It's been so long. It's been so long since I've heard of Mr. Dacre. John Dacre. Yep. Whip. 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 Yep. What is it? What? Oh.
He goes, Christ the Lord is risen today. Oh.
I'm trying to think of the. He said,
Sons of men and angels say.
Foy. He says foy at some point. And the angels, foy.
Well, he does that. When the moon hits
That's
your
it.
eye, whip.
Yeah, whip.
The whip.
Mr. Neil
terrible.
Singleton showed us that lovely video years ago.
Years ago.
Fantastic YouTube video. Look up John
We
Dacre.
see it almost every year.
Oh yeah, we have to.
If Neil doesn't play it when he comes to visit, Jacob plays it when we hang
It's
out.
just a great
so.
Christmas time song. We're there. Halloween's over.
Jacoby.
Christmas time is approaching.
Don't forget, Here's the thing.
I know.
No. I don't care because I love Christmas, but I do see people all the time that are like, now it's like, what do you do? Like, I understand to an extent, but to me, this is the time you prepare for Christmas. Like,
Yes.
that's what you're thankful for.
I get it.
And it's like, it's only like, you don't have a month-long Thanksgiving bash. There's nothing to do for Thanksgiving other than the event itself. So,
True,
I'm okay
but
with
to
decorating
me,
for
it's
You're
all
like
in-
Walmart. You're already putting Christmas stuff out.
Well, why not?
But
It's like, what do you can't decorate for Thanksgiving?
I was gonna say it's
We
kind of
do,
all the
yeah.
same.
Yeah,
What,
we
the
do
turkeys
like,
and
we
the
do
fall
like fall,
leaves.
Well, you can.
autumn decorations until
And then you
after
put up Christmas
Thanksgiving, and then
trees.
we do
See,
Christmas.
but here I've always thought of Christmas and Thanksgiving as the same season. To
It's
me,
the
are.
holidays.
it complements one another to go from Thanksgiving in your few
to
short
give
weeks.
me everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what I'm thankful for.
Yeah.
Thanks. Now give.
But no, I to me, I've always that's what I've said my favorite snow time is too. I don't care for snow except for between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah.
Maybe New Year's.
Oh, I love snow.
After New Year's, I'm done.
You just
I don't want it
blizzard
anymore.
all year long.
Yeah.
No.
Not all year, but all winter. Yeah.
I have become more of an autumn. I don't know. I only like winter for a little bit, and then I hate it.
Yeah. I like
Like-
the spring and fall.
Oh yeah. The in betweens.
Yeah. I don't like summer either.
I love fall.
It's too freaking
Fall's
hot.
fall's my favorite, but then I like.
I
winter.
was a huge summertime fan when I was little, just
Oh,
because
yeah.
it was like you're out of school
Summer
and
break, yeah.
have so many great.
Well, I mean, when
fond
it's
memories.
like 90 degrees every day, like I hated this summer. It was always hot.
Yes.
It was always humid, and the bugs were ridiculous this year. I was done with it.
Yeah, this year sucked.
I was like, it was
This year
90
really
degrees, muggy out, and bugs, mosquitoes, ticks. It's just I was like, get out of here.
Yeah, I didn't.
Thanks,
I,
Joe Biden.
got global warming. He's there. He's overseas to fix it. Okay,
He's fixing it right
He's
now.
fixing it.
One nap at a time.
Winter is upon us, so we don't have to
Winter is
worry about.
coming.
Yeah, there you go.
Brandon still hasn't watched all of that.
I've still got my HBO Max subscription. I'll work through it
Hashtag
one of
one
these
day.
days. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I'm looking forward to the holidays. And I was not like one of those people where Halloween was over and November 1st hit and then it was like, oh,
Yeah.
let's turn to the Christmas
Oh, I still
station.
have my Halloween
I can't
decorations
stand
up.
that. To me, Christmas is still
Somebody at work put in the Teams chat.
Are you
like,
serious?
First day of Christmas, and I'm like, no, it's not.
no.
not. It
As
is.
much as I love Christmas, I love
It's
Christmas.
the first day of Christmas.
Yes.
They do. But it's already on the
That's
radio.
BS.
Christmas 106.9.
Oh God.
I'm glad I play it.
I just don't understand what you play. It has to be like one playlist that's a week long and they just repeat it.
Yeah.
Oh, there's all kinds of.
There's
all
hundreds
kinds of Christmas-
versions of
Yeah.
every Christmas
That's what I'm
song.
saying.
True.
They just play like every version that exists.
I mean,
So,
we'll have another round of holiday movies.
I
Our
still
scary
listen.
Christmas.
Scary.
What was our theme? It was Happy Halloween. What's Christmas again?
Was
What
it
are we
just-
calling it?
Well, I don't know. We had
Unhappy
a name yet.
Christmas?
We just had they were just horror themed Christmas movies, but we
Right.
haven't really.
We gotta come up with like
name.
a.
We will.
Instead of. I don't
Yeah.
know. It
Most of them are going to be kind of bad.
I'm sure.
I
We
don't
talked
know.
about doing the one with Goldberg
Oh, Santa's sleigh.
Santa's sleigh.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot
Like,
about
that's
that
not
one.
going to be good. You
But
know
then we've
that.
also got-
we've got
What's the Krampus?
Well, Krampus
Krampus
is
is
horror comedy. That one might be good. Well, that one might be good.
We
We'll
fell
see.
into
we
the
already
trap.
did. We already did the Mel Gibson one.
That was great.
Yeah.
That wasn't really a
Yeah,
horror.
that was
though.
do that one.
Well, we've already
That
done
was just actually pretty
Gremlins
good.
too, but Black Christmas is the biggest. That's the most well-known horror because that's an actual legitimate. That was a
That
that wasn't
true.
a B movie. That was a
And
legitimate.
here's okay.
There's a horror version of Jack Frost too.
oh yeah, actually, and that
that
one's
is.
fun. I
Yep,
mean, it's
there
terrible,
it
but
is.
it is fun.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I actually saw Gremlins pop up on my feed for horror movies during October, and I was like,
Yeah.
no.
It's Christmas.
I'm one of those where it's definitive. Yes, that is a Christmas film you watch around Christmas time.
That's right.
And I know people will argue against that.
Oh no, well yeah, people watch Gremlins around.
I just don't
Halloween, it's
even.
horror.
I never considered it horror, but
No.
it actually does.
Oh, yeah, Gremlins
when you
is
look
a
it up,
horror
it's
film,
it's
yeah.
it's horror film.
That's
yeah.
what they consider it.
Yeah, huh?
They considered this film that we're about to show a review kind of a horror movie.
Yeah, I mentioned
A
that.
horror movie,
Yeah,
or a
it's more-
horror movie.
Both. Both.
Don't you
Yeah,
whore ass
it's,
me.
It's billed as a psychological horror, but I argue it's more a thriller.
Suspenseful thriller.
I mean,
yeah,
I know
is what I would put
thriller
it.
is considered a subgenre of horror, but it's not. It's
Yeah.
not. It's not outright scares.
No,
So yeah,
Agreed. And well,
Let's get into
maybe
it.
there was
Yeah,
something
let-
else that was a little scary about it too. So well, yeah. Let's get into the review of. Here's our review of Last Night in Soho.
So. Halloween may be over, but Red Moon still has one last scare for you to end the season. From Edgar Wright, a man no stranger to horror, though his previous outings in the genre were of a comedic kind, comes what has been billed as a psychological horror film that traverses past and present. Written and directed by Wright, Last Night in Soho stars Thomasin McKenzie as Eloise Turner, or Ellie for short, a young woman living in the English countryside with her grandmother. Ellie is obsessed with the music and fashion of the 60s, and aspires to become a fashion designer, the same dream her mother, now deceased, once had. Ellie herself has a sort of sixth sense. Capable of supernatural visions, she often sees the ghost of her mother in her mirror, something her grandmother worries about when Ellie is accepted into the London College of Fashion. Ellie then moves to London, where she soon rents a room in Soho. At night, Ellie begins having dreams of Sandy, played by Anya Taylor-Joy, a young woman living during the 60s with dreams of becoming a famous singer who gets tangled up in Soho's red light district. Each night, Ellie dreams of Sandy, and each night she uncovers new horrors, setting Ellie on a course to attempt righting the wrongs of the past. While described as a psychological horror by Edgar Wright, I found Last Night in Soho to be less of an outright horror film and more a thriller. Though some horror aspects are included, don't expect Last Night in Soho to deliver on scares. Instead, the film focuses more on building tension and unease, which better suits its narrative. The film excels in atmosphere, with production design and costuming showcasing both present-day and 1960s-era Soho. Cinematography also accentuates the tension in film and is full of Edgar Wright's flair. The film is visually a brilliant movie. Where Last Night in Soho does fall short of Wright's previous works, however, is in the writing. Last Night in Soho is a well-made thriller with Edgar Wright's style, which alone makes it entertaining. But without Edgar Wright's aesthetic, the movie is more or less a stereotypical thriller. Yes, Shaun of the Dead, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and Baby Driver are chock full of Edgar Wright's style. But even without his quirky filmmaking, the stories offer up something outside of stereotypical zombie, comic book, or heist films. The story themselves benefited from Wright's unique vision, not just the visuals. And Last Night in Soho, while beautiful to watch, lacks much of this originality in both its story and character development for most of its supporting cast. It may be Wright's weakest film to date, but it is still visually gorgeous, with a well-made if generic story. Thomasin McKenzie and Anya Taylor-Joy give solid performances, with minor standout roles from British legends such as Terence Stamp and the final performance of the ever-great Diana Rigg. I feel there is plenty worth seeing in Last Night in Soho, I just don't think it will stand the test of time in the same way Wright's previous films have, and will. I give Last Night in Soho 3 out of 4 stars.
Whoa. 3 out of 4 stars?
3.
Yeah, I liked it.
I concur.
I was going to say, you said, and you concur?
Yeah, I was joking when on those text messages. I liked it a lot.
2.5. 2.5. Let's discuss
I mean,
it.
I had
Let's talk.
problems. I mentioned the problems I had
Yeah.
with it in the review. I just
Yeah.
didn't think
Well,
they
see, that's the
detracted
thing.
from the overall.
This is another review where I feel like you hit the nail on the head, but I just disagree with the score.
Yeah.
I
Well, my only
came out
problem
on
with it
a
was
little
I
bit
thought-
lower at the end.
Because the acting was good.
Yep.
The cinematography, production design.
Oh, yeah. That was
the
all stellar.
music.
Yeah, the editing.
Yeah,
and everything.
editing.
Oh god.
Everything was great. The only thing I really had a problem with was the story itself, and not even like the dialogue. Like I had a problem with the writing, but not the dialogue. Just the story itself was just kind of stereotypical thriller cliche. Like whereas I mentioned in my review, like with Baby Driver, Scott Pilgrim versus the World, Shaun of the Dead, all of those movies, like even like they have Edgar Wright's flair, but even the scripts I think benefited from his unique vision. Like the
Yes.
stories were different.
Yeah.
This one has his flair visually, but the story's
It's
just
been
kind
done
of cut
before.
and dry. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was just kind of like, I mean,
wasn't
but it was
anything-
still well done.
Right. Yeah. It wasn't anything like new and unique from
Yeah.
him. It was just his take on something that was old and probably overused.
Yeah.
But no, I actually agree with the star rating. The only issue that I had when it came to the story was I felt like there's quite a few moments where what you see on screen shows you something completely different than what they say really happens at the end. And I felt like if you're gonna try to create the twist, or if
Yeah.
you're gonna try to do that, then you got to show me something that made me think this is what happened, but don't actually show me that happening.
Yeah.
So, for instance, and I'm not trying to spoil the movie if you haven't
Well,
seen it,
I know a big one,
but
yeah.
the big one is it actually shows.
I don't think you
her-
should say it. I
It
don't think you
shows
should say
her
it.
being stabbed.
He said it.
I'm sorry, I
He
can't.
said it.
It's
He
the
said-
only
he
thing
said
I got a point.
spoiler.
I got a point
all right.
to
Hopefully
make.
people turned away.
And then by the end of the
He
movie,
didn't say
you
who,
find
her.
out.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So by the end of the movie, you find out that actually didn't happen, and it's like, well, you showed me
And the
it
twist
happening,
relies on
and the
that,
twist
yeah.
relies on that. So that's
I
where
agree.
it threw the story off for me. If had that been done in a different way, the twist to me would have been much
I think it's
more
a
impactful.
cheap way to create a twist because it's like
Yes.
you make a red herring, but it's
Yes.
like it's not even just a red herring; it's just a straight out lie. It's like
Yeah,
we make
it's
we
a
show
false
you
twist.
this,
but here's the, hold
but then
on,
we take
hold
it
on,
back
hold
later.
on, hold on. I disagree though.
I don't think that's good building of a twist. Because
No, but the point of view of the character and as the audience member is through Thomas and Mackenzie's eyes.
Yeah.
It's as she's having the story revealed to her. So when she sees these visions,
Mm-hmm.
she's seeing it from a perspective before she has all the pieces of the puzzle. And so I feel like you're just like her going throughout the movie trying to piece it
Yeah.
together. I don't think
We're-
it's a red
but
herring.
we're relying
I think it's
on
her
what she
misunderstanding of
sees,
the
though.
real events.
but I don't think it's a miss because they very plainly show like they don't like show like maybe he did it. It
yeah,
shows
but
him
all
do
of
it.
the visions that she sees of her in this pastime are from something that she's dreamed up. It's all a dream. It's never set in stone as to
I
what
figure,
really happens.
like she sees the ghost of her mom, like she has the supernatural. To me, it's like you have to either say they're unreliable visions or they're reliable, and the rest of the
I
movie,
don't
The
think
rest
so.
of the visions are
yeah.
reliable.
Otherwise, it's
What-
like how do I know
I
any of
agree.
those men did what they
Right,
said they did?
I
They
agree
could all
with-
be fake
yeah.
at that point.
but
I
I don't
agree
think
with
that-
what you're saying about it's from a different perspective
Yeah.
because from her perspective, she's being chased,
yes,
but in the reality of it, they're warning and trying to help.
Yeah,
And
but that's done well. I think
that's done well. But that one scene is the one that really tripped me up. I'm like, how can she be making this all up when the rest of her vision is creditable? It's where
Because
we're
I don't
relying-
think how
I
did
don't
she
think
get a
it
false
was
vision
though.
when the rest of the
I don't
visions
know.
were
I
true.
don't know. I think that I don't know.
Well, what was the issues that you had?
The issues I had were with the story. I just thought it was weak because it was cliche. I just thought, and ultimately, without getting too political, I thought it was a little woke from the perspective of how the twist occurs and why it to me it's a little contrived in the message that they have for the film. Because truthfully, my biggest issue with the whole film is that other than her desire to want to be this fashion artist and to seek this inspiration through this like weird alternative means of this vision that she has in the dreams or through the inspiration of her mother kind of egging her on to say, hey, keep going, follow your dreams. It was like, to me, it was more of a, something she stumbled upon. And I was thinking, oh, we're going to get this cool mystery that she solves throughout. I had no doubt that, yes, it was going to connect to the older woman in the flat that she stays in.
Yeah.
But it was like, I was like, okay, I was kind of anticipating, okay, how are we going to get there and what is the story? What's the culmination? And really, she's the only one in the whole movie that I thought had a believable character that had a drive to want to go forward. And I wanted to see what was happening. But like the boyfriend, lackluster.
Yeah, he was a
to me.
non-character.
Not only was he a non-character, I just thought, who the hell stays with somebody through this crap who they just met? There's just no. I'm sorry, love I know is blind, and you can look through it through rose-colored glasses. But, no offense to Thomas and Mackenzie, very pretty young lady, but she better look like Anya Taylor-Joy in order for, I felt like, the boyfriend to really feel compelled to stay with her through all the crap that he did. I just thought that was a little convenient for him to be there.
When you look like he does, any girl that shows interest in you, you're
well,
probably
true.
gonna
I mean,
stick.
any kind of guy that's in an art school that has an effeminate side, maybe that's all he
the scene in the library with the knife.
Yes,
At that
was,
point,
was
that's when I would have ducked out as
Yeah.
a guy.
Yes.
That's when
I
I
will
found
say
it.
that.
I didn't find it unbelievable until about that point. Then I was like, and he's still
Yes.
like, oh, you almost killed
Well,
somebody? That's cool.
She runs out of the scene, out of the library, and the very next thing is him running down the street because there's like ambulance and he hears sirens and he runs to think that she's there. And I'm like, why would if she was there, why would you be running after her? That's running away. And I know they tried to build up this whole, well, he cares for her, and maybe there's some deleted scenes that weren't in the film that build up their
doubt it.
relationship more. No, I look, if there's one thing I've learned, it's like after watching some movies where there are crucial things that they cut out
Sometimes,
because
yeah.
they technically don't drive the movie forward, but they are very crucial to the overall plot
developing the
development.
characters,
And
yeah.
yeah, exactly. And that was my main issue. Other than her, Thomas and Mackenzie's character, I really didn't have a care for any of the backstory of anybody else. I didn't understand their clear motivations other than they were contrived and directly given to them as to how I should react to the scenes that were set up. But with regards to what you all were talking about, and even still, like I said, 2.5 stars is not terrible.
No.
And trust me, I agree with you all completely on all of the aesthetics and all of the production design. Flawless filmmaking as far as one of my favorite scenes in the movie and so well done was Thomas and Mackenzie's first entry into this world.
Oh, yeah.
And she's in the mirror and Anya Taylor-Joy, it clearly sets up the dynamic of this is like it correlates the two.
Right.
They're the same
Yes.
person.
Yeah.
And I loved that. I thought that was beautifully done from the moment where he's twirling her on the floor and one transitions to the other. Fantastic
Yeah.
filmmaking.
Yeah.
Flawless. But with regard to the points we were just talking about with, where it went awry with the dreaming, I just never, I don't know. I thought the whole point of her seeing it from that point of view was that she was thinking that she had to solve this murder of this girl.
Absolutely.
That's what I got from the trailers.
But
And-
that was the thing
yeah.
is that she goes to the library and she's looking up evidence for what actually happened. And it's only as she starts peeling back and uncovering the mystery that it starts to become whole. And it's not until the very end of the movie when you find out what really happened, when she gets the biggest reveal
Yeah.
from the source
I'm not
itself.
arguing against any of
I'm
that.
just saying, like, I don't think there was any red herring at all. I think it was meant to be told that way.
Because at that
you're
point,
supposed to be ignorant.
exactly, but that's what.
Yeah.
I think they did it cheaply because at that point, before that scene, I knew this person was this person. I'd already guessed it.
Yeah.
Then that scene comes along to intentionally throw you off, so you're like, oh, it's not that person because of this event. And I felt like that was kind of a cheaper way of doing it because instead of having another creative way of fooling you, they had to show you them eliminating that person for you to think, oh, okay, well,
It can't be
it
her.
can't
That
possibly
can't-
be.
yeah.
And
And-
then at the end, it's like, oh, it was all along. See?
Right.
And
I didn't feel that at all.
I just felt like,
okay. I just agree
yeah.
to disagree, but
Yeah,
I didn't feel
yeah.
that
Yeah,
at all.
yeah.
I thought that was. It was not. I don't know. I didn't think that was a big red herring at all. I thought it was meant to be that way.
Oh, no, I think it's meant to
I
be
thought
that
they were
way, but
naturally
that's-
uncovering the mystery as she was figuring it out and discovering it. So yeah, I just disagree. That's all. But overall, I mean, I don't know. I just, for me, the films you pointed out of Edgar Wright's past portfolio,
Yeah.
I felt like are so much better, so much more of an understanding of what his creativity can bring to the screen, and no doubt his style of filmmaking shows up on screen. I just felt like by the end of the movie, when the credits roll, the overall story and plot itself, I just didn't really care what happened to these characters. I don't want to give the ending away.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
But I will. I
There's
mean,
issues that I have with the end, but if I talk about them, then I do
It's-
give the
yeah.
ending away.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there's plenty of issues. I
Yeah,
had with
there's, and I can go through them.
the runway was one of them, and that's what I say when it was kind of woke. But
Oh, yeah.
I can agree with you
Yeah.
definitely for that
but
one.
see,
I didn't-
I thought
I
it
didn't
was woke
really-
even before then.
I don't know. I'm not going to say I disagree. I can see where you would get that, but that wasn't something that ticked any of the score off for me or bothered me in any way.
That's fine.
I felt like the movie was set up to be, Yes, sometimes girls go trying to make something of themselves. There are evil men out there that take advantage of them.
Those things did happen,
there's
have
thousands of
happened.
women every day that go to Hollywood to become an actress or a singer, and they end up in porn. And because that's the only break they can get, and men in that industry use
Exploit
them and
yeah.
exploit them and put them and get them addicted to drugs, so that's the only thing that they can do is one more film to pay for your drugs.
And here's the
that's-
thing:
and
I
get
don't know
that.
if I would have necessarily written it off for that plot point in and of itself. For those who have seen the movie and those who haven't, may be mystified as to what we're talking about.
Right.
But there was a specific part in the end with the reveal and with the major character that there was the part in which Edgar Wright, I think, draws connections to this redemptive arc.
Yes.
That to me was not redeeming.
I didn't think it was redemptive. I thought it was vengeful.
And that's my That's my problem.
I never felt sorry for the person you're talking about.
But I think that's what I felt like the movie was driving that home to try to make it seem as if you felt
she gets what's coming to her in the end.
And to me, well, because here's the thing: you even have the main character herself who tries to draw those feelings out and makes you think, oh, well, she thinks twice about it. And it's almost, well, we've seen her go through this whole journey of what's gone on. Mm-hmm. And if she can feel that compassion and feel sorry for her and have that glimmer of grace, well, then we should be too. And I'm like, nah, I don't know, because something that happened just 5 seconds before that completely destroyed her character for me.
Yeah,
there was no redemption.
I got evil begats evil through the whole thing. I mean, through the ending, because it was. There's so much talk of what actually did take place that's different from what we saw previously.
Yeah.
And then the talk of it reminded me to where she tells her in the summertime, you're going to smell the pipes and stuff. It ain't the pipes. It's
the people she put
people
in the walls.
the bodies in the walls. And that's why she put it right next to a garlic, an Italian restaurant, so the garlic would mask the smell.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
There's all those little things
see,
she trickled out.
I kept waiting for that. To me, that made that character out to be just as evil as the men that were exploiting.
And that's how it should.
And so it was evil begat evil.
But here's the thing. I agree with you. If they would have left that taste in my mouth, I would have probably liked this film a lot better. I don't think they did. And I don't think that was Edgar Wright's intention. If it was, hey, be happy for you to call into the show. Come on, Edgar. Come on here and talk. But no, I really thought that by the end of the film, they made it seem like the vengeance was in and of
why
itself.
you did what you did.
Exactly.
But
I don't think that is redeeming at all.
Yeah.
I think that's I don't think that's a good way to end the film.
To compare to Edgar Wright's best film, Baby Driver, in my opinion, that's a fantastic movie. And we talked about this when we reviewed it. At the end of that movie, yes, he is a criminal. He goes to jail and does his time.
Yeah.
But the time fits the crime. He gets out after doing his time on good behavior, and because of his heart that other people testify to, he gets out early.
Yep.
And it's still a happy ending, even though he gets what he should.
Yeah.
Like he gets what he deserves.
Well, again, because justice is done.
Right, exactly. This movie, I agree, it doesn't do
There's
that.
injustice by the end of it.
There is yes, I agree with that.
Well, hold on. No, I want to say, I don't want to spoil too much. I don't want to spoil too much, but to me, there was justice done, but in a... It's hard to explain without spoiling.
I know.
They still try to make her a little bit sympathetic, and it's like, well, she wouldn't have turned into this evil if it wasn't for this evil. And it's like, that's fine. I understand that.
But
I agree.
She still had a
but
choice.
she was still evil. She still did
Yes.
evil. She didn't have to do.
Right.
Yeah.
And I felt like if they just left it there, I would have been fine.
Yeah.
But to then have the main protagonist turn, and it's not even about feeling compassion. Mm-hmm. You can feel grace and you can feel compassion. It's almost feeling as if she felt justified in saying, okay, I understand where you're coming from, and that was okay.
Yeah.
And that was where that was what left the bad taste
Except
in
for
my
like
mouth.
3 minutes before that, she was going ahead and trying to off other innocent people.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's where I
so
have
in that
the
sense,
problem.
I do. I absolutely get that. And I mean, I did have a little pause myself with that moment, as far as it's like, well, maybe you shouldn't be that sympathetic. But at the end of the day, I do think she got what she deserved.
Well, again, I think
my wife and I went to see it together, and we both agree with what you're saying, because we did both feel like they were trying to give you an understanding of why this person's doing what they're doing, and and in a way make you feel like she's a victim, which she is, but at the same time, it justifying the cruelty that she shows. And we didn't. Neither one of us liked that. We did like what ends up happening, but it wasn't. That was also of her own decision.
That was
I was
so
going to
it's
say
kinda
that's
like,
kind of what we talked about. Is I was like,
Yeah.
no matter how hard times were, the fact of the matter is, and you even see this early on in the film, the desire, the pangs. I mean, and that's kind of what I felt like they should have focused on more of throughout the film, was that you kind of see this very young, innocent, but hunger from Anya Taylor-Joy's character of getting into this world, going out there and trying to see all that she can become and putting all of it out there on the line, and really having a pep in her step, having the audacity, having the drive to want to go after and chase her dreams and put it all on the table and feel confident, to have the confidence.
I know, but
but the problem is that I think, turning from that into then all of a sudden we kind of fast forward, because again, she's in the dream world. So we don't know how much time passes from one night when she goes to bed to the next night.
Yeah.
But we fast forward and now all of a sudden she's caught in this loop of endless, like, okay, this isn't like what I thought it was. And again, I think that was the whole juxtaposition of look at poor little innocent Thomasin McKenzie's character, who's saying, I loved the 60s. Look how glamorous it was, but it wasn't so glamorous, was it? How we fondly have this memory of the past, of the golden era, but it wasn't really a golden era.
I didn't
and
feel
there was
that,
there was hints of that throughout, in the sense that I thought he was trying to drive this like little, hey, you have control. And I think this is kind of set up at the end of the film with her character and her overcoming, is you do have an ability to become somebody that you don't want to be. And I think that's really the thread, I think, between what Thomasin McKenzie's character is facing throughout the whole movie. It's her seeing Anya Taylor-Joy's character, seeing the confidence that she exudes, and is like, I want that. And you can see it in the way she changes her hair color to the designs that she creates. And it's like, okay, I honestly thought that was going to be the crux of the movie. I thought, we're going to get this film where she kind of gets her confidence out of this character and kind of becomes who she's dreaming. And then it took this deep, dark turn. Yeah. And again, it just kind of went down to more of a cliche path that wasn't really original. And I'm like, I felt like if you would have focused more on the characters, more on developing them and then making them unique, we would have had a far more unique story with the Edgar Wright, flair.
No, I get that. And I was going to go back to a point Sean was making, like when you were talking about, like, as far as like the ending with I don't want to spoil it, but I was just going to say with that character, the older woman and Anya Taylor-Joy, I do think as far as like the whole evil thing, the very first instance of what she does, I could say would be in self-defense. And in that instance, I think you could have made her sympathetic.
Yes.
But it's everything that goes on after that. Yeah. It's like at that point, it was no longer self-defense. And
not even just that.
It was Eileen Wuornos and Monster.
But even then, what is done back in the 60s that has been basically put to sleep until this girl shows up in her apartment building. Then it starts again, though, because she does...
Yeah, she's afraid of finding out.
She harms people.
Well, she doesn't want other people to find out her secret. Yeah,
right. So then it's like it's not just.
I think we have kind of spoiled it with all our.
The evil didn't subside back in the 60s. The evil is still there, continuing. And now it continues.
And at that point, it's no longer sympathetic.
I would also say that the grandmother makes it very clear before the young girl leaves the house. If you go to London, it is not what you think it is. Be careful. It is, and to me, that goes not against your point, but I don't think they were trying to attack the golden era. I think they're just showing they were just showing that there's evil has always existed, and this girl thought she would go to this glamorous
homicides.
Right? Well, not just London. I mean,
everywhere.
But
I mean, I'm just saying. As far as that
if anything, it's an attack on
history.
When you leave the rural area to go and try to make something of yourself in the big city, you're a little fish in a shark tank.
Yeah,
and that's kind of what I got from it.
And I'll be honest, I thought we were going to see more. Another disappointment is I thought we were going to see more of the mother have an influence. And I thought
they throw that hint in there about her being crazy, and I'm like, so she had the same ability that she has,
right?
And that's what led to her death was that she went down the rabbit hole.
It's they only he really only puts the tidbit in there to just
Yes.
try to string you along to say something crazy is going to
They
happen
could
with
have done
her.
more with that.
Yeah, and I just thought her mother was going to play more of a, again, character development.
Sure.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it just was weak. I don't know. All right.
All right.
It's still worth checking out. I'll say that. 3 out of 4 stars, our official review here. Definitely check out Last Night in Soho, only in theaters.
Only in theaters.
Cannot see it anywhere else. But it is time, guys. No,
Yeah.
no second review this week. We're going to move on to our headlines. Oh, he did it!
Oh,
Oh,
God.
man, look at
I don't
him.
know
That's
what
it.
happened. That
He
Man.
just jumped right into
It was
him.
beautiful.
Yeah, it just came
It was
out.
beautiful.
Spirit leapt in and took over. They better be. They're about to be with what we got coming. Headline talk.
I mean, I don't know if they're going to be entertained by these headlines, but
I would be.
it is the most. Yeah, I mean, to an extent, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I don't know. I actually want to start
It
with the
depends
second
on
one.
what side you come down on.
Well, I don't want to start with that one yet.
Okay.
I want to start with the second one just to catch everybody up on.
Well-
we said we would continue to follow the story.
That's what we.
Yeah.
That's where we left off last week. So the second one makes sense.
Breaking
Yeah.
news. Yeah, no, I was gonna say if most people haven't already been paying attention, because there's probably been something new that's come out every single day. But I think even more kind of crazy and ridiculous was that if Alec Baldwin doesn't have enough already on his plate, his young, very
Attractive.
attractive wife
His
has
wife that could be his daughter.
Yeah, easily. Went and made a fool of herself, showed her
yeah.
youthful ignorance, and posted a picture on Instagram of her and her 6 kids on Halloween. It was over Halloween weekend, and basically said, it's been really tough getting through these times in these last few days.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's a family that does not get to share Halloween or go trick-or-treating with their mother.
Yeah.
Right.
This
Well,
Halloween
she had
weekend.
said parenting through this has been an intense experience.
Yeah.
It's like so. And I mean, I understand that, but who probably has it
How
worse getting through
inconsiderate
Halloween
can you
is
be?
the child that no longer has a mother.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it
so-
just shows you that no matter through the words, no matter through the sentiments that are conveyed, the fact of the matter is that at the heart of this is, and look, I know Alec Baldwin's probably still going through a hell of a time because he's probably looking at a lawsuit and looking at jail time over this. This really could be not only
It's possible.
dangerous for, I mean,
But I mean, it does show you the Hollywood mindset because
Yeah.
it's like it's about us. It's like that.
Right.
Well, what she said, because it says like parenting through this has been an intense experience to say the least. But then she goes on to say, today we rallied to give them a holiday. Last minute costumes, a little hodgepodge, but they were so happy and that warmed my mama heart. And I was like, okay, well,
Wow.
what about the kids? Last minute costumes and it warmed my mama heart. But it's like, okay, that child no longer has a mother to take them trick or treating.
you know, this is just a raw
Yeah.
example of how ignorant and inconsiderate and just awful our generation is.
And nobody's arguing. It's like, yes, your kids should be able to enjoy Halloween. Nobody's arguing that.
No,
but maybe
no,
you
but
should
here's
keep
the thing.
sentiments to yourself.
Exactly. You don't need to share anything on social.
No.
You know what you should have done to be really compassionate? You should have called the grieving husband with the grieving kids and said, hey, come trick-or-treating with us. We want to share this time with you. It'll be small, intimate. Nobody's going to know. No cameras. We want to spend this time with you because we know you're grieving.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. If you refuse, I understand completely. You may not want to see us. You may not want to spend
But
time
it's
with
like,
us.
I want to make
too
sure
human.
you have a good
But
Halloween
here's
as well.
exactly
Too human for them.
exactly. Have a human element here, but there is no human element with these people.
No.
These people live in a bubble where the only thing that matters is their ego and how many likes they get on an Instagram page to show that they're grieving and they're hurting too.
We know because now the assistant director who was fired is saying that there needs to be reform on Hollywood. It's like, for what? He said...
Oh, gosh, I know.
'cause
Whatever.
He had stated, it's like, this has shown me, if anything, that we need to reform practices on set. It's like, what? You ignored the practices.
I was gonna say-
what do we need to reform? You didn't do it.
You had live ammunition on a film
Yeah.
set.
Yeah.
Why
And then
the hell is there
and to come
any
out
live
and
ammunition on a
say,
film set?
Hollywood needs to rethink live guns and practices on set. It's like, well, maybe if you followed the practices that are already in place, it wouldn't have happened.
I just there's no excuse for this.
It is.
That's
That's
Alec
ridiculous.
Baldwin himself is the one who said the whole thing about there being like 1 in a trillion. What does he say?
He said it. I watched
there's
the video. and
Incidental accidents on film sets from time to time, but nothing like this. He continued, there is this is a 1 in a trillion episode. It's a 1 in a trillion event. But remember,
Well-
this is what I don't. This is he says. But remember how many bullets have been fired in films and TV shows in the last 75 years. This is America. How many bullets
yeah.
have gone off in movies and on TV sets before? How many billions in the last 75 years, and nearly all of it without incident. So what has to happen now is we have to realize that when it goes wrong and it's this horrible, catastrophic thing, some new measures have to take place. Rubber guns, plastic guns, no real armaments on set. That's not for me to decide. Yeah, that's.
You just, but like he just said, how many billions? I mean, Saving Private Ryan, no one got shot. I mean, it's like if you do what you're supposed to do.
Well, it's not nobody got shot. Nobody got injured.
Yeah.
That we that know of with all the squibs and explosions on the beach and I mean that's dynamite they're burying under the beach. They're burying
because when you take the proper precautions and you're cautious about what you're doing, working around that thing, those
tannerite and all that kind of stuff. It's like they use that stuff on every movie set for these things.
Well, again, but you're talking about trained professionals.
Yes.
That obviously, as evidence has continued to trickle out about this ongoing investigation, how insane and ridiculous and careless these people were with regarding to the safety measures that should have been taken into consideration and taken place. Yeah. And the fact of the matter is that no, all of this it's the type of asinine thinking and I'm sorry, but wrong-headed thinking that these people are trying to distract with one hand over here waving, we need to be more careful, we need more oversight and more people to look. You all were the ones who willfully took that oversight for granted and did not take it into consideration. And look at what happened.
Yep.
This is exactly the cause of something that should, of directions that weren't taken, of actions that could have been prevented. And it was because of your all's willful ignorance that a woman is dead.
Yeah. And even, I mean, Alec Baldwin's comments here, I'm not saying that they're not, that they are, there is truth to them, but there's no humility. There's no accountability.
Nope.
He doesn't, I know he has been through grief. Like, I mean, I'm not denying that. I've seen him off say, look like he's about to puke.
But the comments you're referring to are not the day of the incident.
No. This is later, and now it's more like damage control.
Yes.
And it's more like, oh, well, we fire bullets all the time in movies, and this never happens. This is just it's terrible, but it's a 1 in a trillion thing. And it's like, yeah, but that 1 in a trillion thing could have been 0 in a trillion if you would have done your job correctly. So there's still no accountability. Even if he was trying to make this point, there's still, I mean, he should still be saying, I don't know what happened. I was given the gun. It was supposed to have been checked. I was doing what I was directed to do.
Freaking be a human.
Yeah.
Be a human and say, I should have checked the chamber.
Yeah.
I should have dry fired the gun in the ground. I didn't take the part of my responsibility in this matter seriously enough. I made a mistake. I am reeling with this mistake every single day.
Are telling him not to admit to anything.
Yeah, he can't say that because that makes him culpable. Yeah.
Right.
Well, then you know what you do? You don't give any statement at all. And he said that multiple times in this statement.
Yeah, I don't
before he said I can't say anything. It's an ongoing investigation. Then leave it at that.
Yep.
Shut up and move on.
No comment.
And I understand that he was trying to get those people to stop following him. Okay, so be it. Then just say, I can't make any comments about an ongoing investigation. Please leave me alone. I'm here with my family. My kids are in the car. He does make that point. But at the end of the day, be a freaking human. That's all people are asking. And what a human is not you're worried about your ego, worried about your next paycheck, or worried about how this is going to hurt your next movie deal, or if you're going to go to jail and be locked up. A woman is dead. And yes, they do, if you watch the full clip of them being interviewed by these people who were following them.
Yeah.
They do say, they even argue and they lash out their name. Her name is Helena. She's a friend. She was a friend. It doesn't matter. I'm sick and tired. This is what we get from Hollywood. It's all about emoting. It's all about I show the right emotions at the right time with the right kind of anger, and then you take that as
if you just shot
honesty.
someone, however accidental it was, if you just shot and killed somebody, would you be at Martha's Vineyard drinking $300 bottles of wine and shopping and
Well, I wouldn't be doing that even if I didn't.
Well, I know.
somebody.
Well, if you were rich, you would. But that's what there's. That's what he's been doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, yeah, they called him out on that too. That
Yeah.
he was at some ski lodge and everything. And they're
Yeah.
just like, what is he doing? Like, you would think he would be in mourning or
Grieving.
consoling the family.
Right. I wouldn't be able to get
Well,
out of bed.
And here's the thing. I understand when you're a big star like this.
When people grieve differently.
Well,
That's-
not
yeah.
only do people grieve differently. Look, you're gonna be, but you already know this. Being in the public eye, you're under a microscope.
Yeah.
Every single move you make is gonna be. It's
Oh,
going to
yeah.
be quantified and completely
So
calculated.
don't give
as
him
to
any
what-
ammunition.
Exactly.
Sorry about the pun. Don't give him any ammunition to fire
Cold.
at you.
Keep it cold.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
That's
No,
it.
you're right.
I mean, I didn't mean it that way,
No,
but
but
that's
absolutely.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
No,
don't give him a reason to take those pictures and make those statements.
Exactly.
Stay home, shut your blinds.
Yep.
Have Grubhub bring your food and quit acting like a pompous ass in front of everybody.
And that's the thing. It's like you can't tell me with all of the money that you have that you can't somehow go somewhere completely incognito.
Secluded, yeah.
Come
Yeah.
on. That's BS. I'm not buying that for 1 second. You don't care about the kind of attention it draws because at the end of the day, you're not really grieving in the right way because this isn't about her family. This is about we have to wait till the investigation closes. And obviously, everybody is wanting to point the finger at somebody else. Nobody here is wanting to act like a mature adult.
They just want to get production started on that movie.
I don't think it's coming out.
Oh, no.
There ain't no way.
it's over.
There's
But
maybe
I'm just-
5 years down the road.
Yeah.
And then everybody, they'll own
It's a
here's
$6
the-
million budget, though, right?
Yeah, it's gone.
not.
It's gone.
That's chump change.
I mean, here's the funny thing is the only way I could see this being advertised is this is the film that Helena got shot on.
Yeah.
That's the only way they could advertise it.
That's terrible.
I mean, it's the only way somebody's
Yeah.
going to go see it is like, oh, yeah. That's that woman guy. I mean, hell, look at freaking Dark Knight. It's like Heath Ledger dies and then it was already going to be popular.
yeah.
But I mean, it soared because people wanted to see his last performance.
Yeah.
So I look, all being said, the fact is a woman is dead because of an action he took, whether willfully or ignorantly. But you should be a little bit more mindful of how you are perceived in public when you are a public figure.
Yeah.
And I just don't think he's doing that. Alrighty, guys. Is my dog doing?
She's in the bathroom doing something. I don't know what she's doing.
Did you leave the toilet seat up,
No,
Keith?
the toilet seat's down. She's just
Okay.
in there. I don't know what she's doing.
I'm wondering.
I don't even
she
remember
likes
leaving the door open, so
She can nudge it open
Oh, it's
because it
not
doesn't
latched,
latch.
yeah.
She came out. She came out. Okay. What's next?
I don't know what she's up to. Alrighty, guys. Now we can move on to the big headline.
Can I say? I know you're going.
Oh,
to
go ahead.
I just
Yeah,
happened to see a comment on the article that we were just talking about, and someone actually did say in the comment section, Alec Baldwin could end this by saying he will forever regret he didn't check the gun himself rather than relying on a
Boom.
professional. And so there's plenty of other
And that
people
doesn't that doesn't
feel
make
the
it
exact same
culpable
way.
at all.
That's not. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
That's not saying I did it or
Yeah.
or I'm
But it's
that's-
like I should.
Well, and here's the thing:
Yeah.
none of this throughout the entirety of the investigation, nobody was saying that he intentionally tried to shoot somebody.
No.
But even if you wrongfully kill somebody, you still could be held for manslaughter.
You're still accountable for.
You're still
wrongfully
accountable
murdering
for
some-
killing
yeah,
somebody.
Killing someone.
And so, no, I'm sorry, but there's nothing he could say right now other than, I didn't check the chamber because really she was a hateful person and I couldn't stand her. It's like, now you're probably looking guilty.
Yeah.
But obviously nobody thinks that he did this intentionally.
Yeah.
No.
So I don't see how him coming out and saying, like, yes, I take my responsibility of being the person who held the gun, who shot her, and that I will forever live
Yeah.
with, and that's awful.
Even like if I could go back in time, I would triple check the gun. I would quadruple
Exactly.
check the gun.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
just to show the remorse.
I don't think that's incriminating yourself at
No.
all.
I
Not
agree.
one
I
bit.
agree.
Alrighty, guys. So our second headline: Netflix. They're still pushing through, but will they give in? Will Dave Chappelle be canceled?
Well, I mean, his contract's already up anyway, so
Yeah.
But as we know with Adam Sandler, that doesn't mean the end of a deal with Netflix.
he said he's done. So he doesn't.
Oh,
can't-
Chappelle's done.
He can't cancel somebody who said that he's done.
No,
for now
I don't
anyway.
think so. If they
So-
came back to him after this whole controversy and were like, we're going to put another special on Netflix, I bet you he'd take it up in a heartbeat.
He might. Well, he said
Why
he
wouldn't
didn't
he?
mean he was done permanently. He just said for now. He said that's why this one was called The Closer.
Yep.
So
There was his closing argument.
Yeah,
His closing statement.
He knew this was
It's-
coming.
and
That's
what-
part of the.
That's what he said. That's what he says in
Yeah.
the
in the show,
end.
he says in the stand-up special that, and what's funny is he said, I know the people that complain and call me transphobic. In the stand-up special, before he even got all this controversy about the special, he says, I know all the people that say I'm transphobic have not actually watched my show. How do I know this? Because they always bring up the same talking points
Yep.
from an article that was written several years ago, and everybody goes and mentions all the same points from that article, and I'm like, you didn't watch my show. You just read that article and believed that article that I'm transphobic. If you watched the show,
Yeah.
you would understand what I'm saying. And so it's funny that even in his own show, he says people are going to hate me for this, and then right after, he gets all the flack. He knew, and he didn't. He doesn't care.
Nope.
Well, and nor should he. But the real question here is,
Well,
Dave
Netflix,
Chappelle
yeah.
never had to.
Yeah,
Is Netflix going to cower?
Yeah.
Obviously, this whole talk of they last week after our show aired, they had we had actually mentioned it on last week's show. It was before the show aired. The trans activists that went out. There's
Yep.
about 12 of them.
Well, we did mention on the show the one that was fired.
Yes, well,
Yeah.
yeah, right. But the thing was the protest had just happened.
Yeah.
And it was because there was one who said that now Netflix was going to fire them, or because they were being fired for setting up the
None
protest.
of them got fired. They
Well,
were
that's what it
suspended.
was. Yeah.
Say it this way though.
Yeah.
To be honest, it is a protest, but they were scheduling a walkout,
Yes.
which is you abandoning your job.
Yep.
Now I get that. I've actually been in the middle of a situation
Sean
like that.
kind of knows some
So
of the
I,
risks.
knows
of
a
I
it.
little
know
the
about
ins
it.
and outs.
I know as fired up as you get, and even if there's people in high places that are on board with that, it can still all fall apart at them. But it's still
You could still lose your job.
Yeah, I knew 100% that
You're taking
everything
that
was on the
chance.
line. I took the chance. But that again, it's not just a simple protest. They were organizing a walkout, which to me. Yes, if it's for something like this, well, I mean, for anything, the employer it's at their discretion whether they want to fire
Well,
you or
correct
not.
me if I'm wrong. Have the employees been fired?
No.
They're just
Okay.
raising the
The
lawsuit
ones-
because there was a
It
threat.
says the trans
One.
program manager was fired.
Yes, that one, but that's
Yeah.
not. He's not the one that was a part of the ones that were.
Well, that was the
executive.
that was
Yeah.
the breach of the executive meeting.
Yes,
this
that's
is
something
about the
completely
protest that happened after the
No,
executive
well, there
meeting.
was no-
says
This was about the
fired
walkout.
while organizing a walkout.
Yes,
related
well,
to
I'm
Netflix's
trying to
support.
clear.
Okay, go
the,
ahead.
The
Sorry.
exec thing is something completely different because
Yeah.
there wasn't another protest after that. He tried to organize a walkout after that.
Yes.
and they fired him.
fired him.
Yeah.
Okay. So this
Brandon, I thought you were conflating the two.
I
different
was.
protests.
I
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
So the walkout was happening after the protest had already taken place. This had nothing to do with the walkout
Well, this had nothing to do with the exec,
protest.
like them crashing the exec meeting.
Right.
Yeah.
They didn't get fired for that.
Yeah, they were suspended.
They were suspended and
Right.
brought back.
And they got their jobs
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
This guy, after the fact,
No.
B.
It's
Pagels-
not a guy.
I'm sorry. The trans. I don't know. I don't. It doesn't
Black
say.
trans program manager.
But I mean, I don't know if it's a male or
Oh,
female.
yeah.
So
they're intentionally being vague about that.
It just says B. Pagels Minor. That's their name.
I actually did hear an audio clip of somebody interviewing
Yeah.
him, and it was hilarious to see. For one, he's got it all scripted.
Is it he?
It just rolled right off.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure it was.
Sir?
If I'm dead naming you, I'm sorry. Well, P. Bagels Minor.
B.
B. Pagels.
B.
Not
Bagels.
P. Bagels.
P. Bagels Minor.
P. Bagels. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Here's the thing.
We're not making
I
fun.
heard the clip, and this person, it was like they had a freaking memorized monologue.
Oh.
The person, of course, comes up to interview him and is like, "How do you spell your name?" And like, boom, rolls right off the tongue.
Yep.
Then has their whole statement. But here's what I want to know. Okay, there was a protest that happened after the executive meeting.
No, there was never a protest.
There was a protest outside of Netflix. There was an actual
I know.
protest.
Yeah, I
that's
think-
where
yeah.
this.
Oh, that, yeah, but that's not
Yes.
what this. Yeah, okay.
No, I know.
Yeah,
I know. That's what I'm
Gotcha,
trying to
gotcha,
clarify.
Gotcha.
There was the executive meeting that was
Yes,
bombarded.
yes.
Those employees were suspended.
Yes.
Right. They've been brought back. Then there was a protest
Nothing happened with
outside of Netflix. was this walkout where the employee was fired, was that after the protest that already happened, or was the walkout that they were talking about in regards to the protest that happened?
Gotcha. Okay,
That's what I'm trying to clarify.
That I don't know. I don't see
and
that
that's what I
mentioned in
can't.
here.
I think that the employee who organized the protest, which was a walkout, was fired. And they are now having they filed a lawsuit with Netflix for endangering trans lives by having this special on their platform. And of course, I think the lawsuit's not going anywhere. I don't think obviously.
Well, they said it's for they're
Unfair
suing them
labor
for
practices.
unfair labor practices.
yes, because of having something
but-
like Dave Chappelle's special
But originally,
on Netflix.
because there's actually a link
No,
in this article.
yeah,
You click on
they
it.
say Netflix's actions were designed to stop workers from speaking out about their working conditions, including the desire to create
But
a safe environment for
They
Netflix
allowed the
staff.
protest and they only suspended the others. It's had nothing to do with stopping
Yeah.
you from talking. It has to do with you
Organizing
You're
the
disrupting.
workforce.
Yeah, it's disrupting work.
disorganizing
Yeah.
the work. Yeah.
And initially, because if you click on the other link within this article about
Suspended after
B.
posting
Pagels
viral
Minor?
tweet.
he originally states, well, not he himself or that person themselves. Someone who knows them originally stated, it's funny, during the protest you have all these white people complaining, but they fired the black. So they made it about race at
Oh,
first.
of course.
And it's
Yeah.
like, well, no, it had nothing to do with him being black. It
This
has
is why
nothing to do
black
with
had to
trans
do with
lives
he
matter.
organized
and it has nothing to do with him being trans. It has something to do with the fact that he organized something that disrupts work,
Right.
and employers aren't okay with that.
Yep.
Well, and Sean, just to bring up the point you just made, it's like at the end of the day, you knew what was on the line. Should you?
Yes.
This was about vaccine mandates.
Yes, it was.
at work.
Yes.
and you were willing to put your job on the line.
Right.
Should things go awry?
Right, but here's I'll take that a little bit further. I had written assurance that I would not be reprimanded, I wouldn't be pointed for my absence, I would not be fired or anything. I had the assurance from my superiors that would not happen. So if anything should have happened, the superiors of mine who organized that, who
Allowed it.
riled people up to do that,
They would have been at
should have
fault.
been the ones held accountable.
And I think they would have.
And so that's why I feel like they organizing the walkout, rightfully so, should have been fired.
So this is I was clicking on all the other link because they link to past articles. It does say Netflix has fired a leader of the Trans Employee Resource Group who was organizing the upcoming October 20th walkout.
There's
so
a
he
Trans employee resource.
they all
group?
have them.
Yeah,
they all have diversity.
different
Okay, just go on.
Diversity
But anyways, that's what it
czars
was.
that
So
just
he organized
it's so
the
insane.
walkout that took place October
Corporate
20th.
America's-
and that's what they were fired for. The organizing the walkout.
But the
that
walkout
occurred.
wasn't the protest, right? Or was it the protest?
That's what I can't.
So they
understand.
fired the
Well, it was
person
just-
who organized it, but not the people that participated.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
I agree
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I mean, because the thing is you have to not only nip that in the bud, you can't allow. The bigger problem here is Netflix they have more at stake than just that one employee.
Yeah.
Who cares about that one employee? And you can sit there and say, well, they were being insubordinate and we had every right, the grounds. And I don't think anybody, even in court, they would argue against that. But the fact is with people on that side of the aisle fighting these causes, they know it has nothing to do with whether or not you have legitimacy in the court of, justice. It's the court of public opinion you're playing with. And at the end of the day, what Netflix is going to ultimately be tested with is if they continue to get pushback from this community, they are the ones that are going to have their feet held to the fire. And if they hold their ground, I think we're okay. Then, again, we've seen this. When you stand up to them, the vocal minority, you shut them up and you shut them down because nobody cares about their opinions or what's at stake because it's not really endangering them. It's a bunch of people who are complaining because they feel endangered about words being said. That's ridiculous. It's idiotic. And we need to shut all of those kind of protests down because at the end of the day, yeah, you can get out there on your own time, but you can't use my company time that I'm paying you as an employee to organize such an event.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you're getting money from me and employed by me to work here. It's a privilege for you to work for any company.
Well, most companies have defamation clauses in when you sign on or you become an employee. I mean, jobs I've worked at in the past, like literally, like. And they never did because nobody monitored your Facebook like that. But even the restaurant I worked at was like, well, yeah, if you post something that's defamatory on Facebook, you could be fired for that. And it's because, as an employee, it's like they don't care that if you have a problem, you can go to them or HR. Like they're fine with that. But when you start promoting how awful they are as an employee to potential customers, it's like, they have a problem with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just want to point out real quick because I know the mystery. We've alluded to it. We don't know if this is he or she or whatever. It says in the article that B, who is 35 weeks pregnant, is also claiming that this is not good for their health amidst all the stress. So if she is pregnant, well, wait a minute now. A she can get pregnant. A he can't. It's a she.
It's not what biology's told me today.
It's a she pretending to be a he.
Would you say pretending?
Well, if she's pregnant, then she's not a he.
We're going to be banned.
You're an
He
offensive
can't
person.
get pregnant.
We're going to be banned.
Fire me.
You ain't got no. I have no qualms here at Red Moon.
So
You don't pay us anyway.
I just want to point that
next
out
thing
there.
I know,
This
Sean's
is
going to
a
show up
biological
on the podcast
female
as B.
that
Pegels
has
Minor.
transitioned to B. Pegels Minor male.
Well, you're going to show up as B.
Right.
Pegels Major
Right.
next week.
I just wanted to point that out.
And he's going to be ranting and raving about Red Moon doesn't care about trans white lives.
Right.
You can always make that argument. You can always transition, Sean, and your case will be solved.
I'm waiting to like. I don't know how. I mean, I'm assuming it's B. Pagels Minor or whatever. But if someone's gonna come back, like nobody is. But I'm just saying it'd be funny if someone's like, you're pronouncing that wrong. It's like I don't even care at this point. I really, like,
Sorry, it's Pagels.
it's
all right.
I can't.
Pagels.
Well, it's
I'm
like,
sorry.
I can't keep track with who's who or what's what. And it's like at this point, I don't care.
What's the B stand for? Brian?
No.
I think it's just they don't want to give out the
Brianna
yeah, I don't know.
Pagels?
Say her name.
Oh, don't do that.
I'm telling you, it kind of sounds like a Mario name. I don't something in a Mario
B.
game.
Pagels Minor.
I got to
know.
fight
like a
Bowser, and then you got to fight B. Pegels Minor.
Well, you got to
After
fight
that,
B.
you gotta
Pagels Miser
major.
before Bowser. You know?
Yeah.
All right.
So terrible.
This is stupid.
I just hope Netflix holds the ground.
Oh, they did.
It sounds.
It
I
here's
didn't
the
think
thing.
they would hold it as much as they already have.
Agreed.
I didn't
And
think that.
But that's the thing is if there's one thing these groups have learned is they will hold out for as long as they can.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, people's attention spans are short on certain things.
Yeah.
We saw it last year, how long riots could go on after the George Floyd incident.
Yep.
And the fact of the
You don't
matter
hear about it
is,
at all now.
well, as I say, justice has been served, right? Because what's his name's behind bars. That's the thing. I can't even remember the cop's name.
know.
I totally
Chauvin.
forgot. Chauvin, Derek
Chauvin.
Chauvin. But the thing is it's like the longer Netflix can outlast this, the fact is the more people who watch Dave Chappelle's special, and I think ultimately, again, that's their greatest asset. Because what are you going to do? You're going to cancel a black guy who's not only known for his comedy, but then how do you look? In support of what? I mean, if this, and that's really the damage here. If this would have been a Bill Burr special, it would have been pulled the next day.
Yeah, it's true.
Because he's a white guy.
I
It's
agree with
because
that.
it's Dave Chappelle.
Yep.
And he's specifically and that's the thing is he's kind of given a right, and he's joked about the fact that he can make these jokes because he's a black man.
Yeah.
And
And
that's
I
fine.
admire
I'm
him for
okay
that.
with that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm fine with somebody who actually has the audacity to get up there and say stuff that he knows he's gonna come under fire for,
Yep.
but specifically because somebody needs to say it. And there's too many people out there who don't have the balls to.
And I hope they keep it up. So far, Netflix is still standing by the special, and they've walked back a few statements, but ultimately
People
they
are
still
still
stand.
watching it.
Well, like they said,
Yeah.
even a
Money.
spokesperson said, "We recognize the hurt and pain caused to our trans colleagues over the last few weeks, but we want to make clear that Netflix has not taken any action against employees."
And that's what
for
I'm
either
hoping.
Speaking up
I'm
or
hoping
walking out.
because, and this is also what this just proves two things. It's like, don't cave in, but this is exactly what corporations need to do in general because this is what you're good at. So what you're good at doing. We're going to say a bunch of crap to save face with the community and then not really change behind the scenes.
That's everything they've done. It's like, we understand it hurt. Basically, all they're saying is, we understand it hurts your feelings, but
Dave Chappelle makes us money.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's it. It's about the money.
But I think they would have a bigger argument if they canceled him. Because I hate to say
yeah.
it, we've seen over the last year, the more you have people rile
I mean,
up.
let's think about it logically here. The trans
Which
community makes
bigger?
up less than 1% of the
No,
population.
exactly.
If they all quit watching Netflix, who gives a crap?
exactly.
If
Well,
everybody that watches Dave Chappelle quits watching Netflix, Netflix is gone.
I think
And that's what they're thinking.
There's way more people in support of Dave Chappelle than there are against him, and Netflix knows that.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And I think that the moral of that story is that needs to be done on a bigger,
Yeah, I
grander
agree.
scale.
We need to quit
Because
worrying about.
more people need to stand up to cancel culture anytime it comes to our front door with regards to whatever issue it is. The fact is, you're in America. You should be able to say whatever it is you want to say.
America!
With regards to, anything apart from thwarting, or encouraging violence on anybody. Say whatever you damn well please.
Thanks. So I'm not going to get fired?
I thought about it, and I just really wanted to see you come back as B. Pickles Major, so I may still do it.
Okay.
Thinking. All right, let's move on to
If it's one thing our culture has taught us, I can be whoever or whatever I want to be.
You could be
I
pregnant
can
tomorrow.
be whatever you want me to be.
Yeah,
You want me to get pregnant? I'll get pregnant.
I kind of do.
I'll do it.
I think Amelia would be happy with that.
She probably
You
would.
can get your third child.
Yeah.
That's what you should tell. You should say, Amelia, we
Maybe
can have
it'll
a
actually
third
be a girl
child.
this time.
Think about this.
You should tell Amelia that. It's like we can have a
I
third
could do
child
it
only
better
if
than
I'm
you.
the
If
mother.
I'm the, and
I'm
I
going to
bet
do
you,
it better. That'll go over real well.
Oh, I bet you Amelia would be like, you pop one out between your legs. I'm fine. Have at it. Should be
for
all
it.
about it. Alrighty, guys, let's
All right.
move on to our Vices segment. Vices.
I like vices.
Come here, Viceroy.
All right, guys, we were trying to.
Stilted slime.
For the one time I was able to join in a while, it was kind of nice tonight. I was able to join with our good old neighbors and good old fashioned cigar.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Keith
I didn't
he wasn't
care.
thrilled with you being there,
No.
apparently.
No, apparently not.
I wasn't.
You know what?
I was. I thought it was pretty cool.
I was like, oh, Brandon's here.
When you were like, I'll be there around 5:32, I was just like, sweet.
Now I'll be here all day,
Mm.
off from work, and it's like I wanted to join in. It was nice to be around the fire,
was.
have a cigar.
It was a nice night, actually.
Yeah.
so-
It was
Yeah.
fantastic. And
Thank you
we
to the Garens for working that out for us.
absolutely.
It was very
The
nice.
Garin.
yeah, every week, even though I'm not always able to partake.
Garen.
You'll be back in it's like every couple months or so you get one that you can join
Yeah,
us with.
but that's what makes me enjoy it even more. When
It's
I
like
can
once a
join.
quarter.
Yeah, pretty much it is. I'd say the last time was like in August. It's sad. I don't get to join that often. But
What's the Vices segment?
we got to talking
Yeah,
around
he's
the
trying
fire,
to build to it.
and we were talking about bargain shopping.
Bargain shopping.
And I was thinking, holy crap.
We
We
were-
talked about compulsive buying when it's the big items, the
Mm-hmm.
big ticket items. But how often do we want to buy because we see a
Well,
good
things are on
deal?
sale. We were specifically talking about
Everybody loves a good deal.
what was it like something 5? I forget.
Give me 5.
Give me 5. Yeah, give me 5.
See, and
there's
I
a-
said
there's a
5
place-
below.
Well,
There's a
5
place-
below is
yeah,
different.
There's a place we've heard of. None of us have actually been there, but it's up Dixie
It's
Highway
this mythical place.
in the Shively
Yeah.
area, and it's
That's what makes it mythical.
yeah, and it's called Gimme 5. And apparently, every day of the week they have things at a different price that starts it starts at like a quarter.
I think
on Monday,
it starts like a
and
quarter.
it gradually gets up to $5 on Saturday.
It's
And
crazy.
And they
that's when all the
restock on
good
Saturdays
stuff.
and
Yeah,
Sundays,
Saturday's the
yeah.
good stuff.
You go in, you give them $5, they give you a snow cone. It's awesome.
no cone.
But basically, yeah, they have these huge bins
No cone.
full of whatever and anything you can find in there. And they, our friends have told us about this. They found, 1 terabyte SD cards
SD
for
memory
$5.
cards and
Torch lighters. Brian got a really
lighters.
nice cigar torch.
Yeah, they got 2
Um,
of those. They got a hair removal device thing
Yeah.
over there for Brian's lips.
So yeah, the advice was:
And-
do you splurge on like when things are on sale cheap, and you're just like, I want to get
it's
me like
do
8 or
you
9 or
need
10
it?
of these things.
Do you really need it, or are you just getting it because it's cheap?
It's cheap.
Right.
I've done both.
Yeah.
I've definitely. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. There's been times where I've intentionally gone bargain shopping just to get my amenities, or toiletries.
Yeah.
Something like bleach. I'm not gonna pay $3-4 for concentrated bleach.
Where
to
are
watch.
you paying $3 or $4? It's like
freaking
90 cents
Kroger.
everywhere.
Kroger.
Bleach?
Kroger's
Yeah.
99 cents
No,
for a bottle of bleach.
Not here.
Yeah.
Freaking Kroger. I swear it's like $3.
What
Even
brand
for
are you buying?
bleach?
What brand you
Kroger
buying?
brand.
Oh, wow.
I
I'm
just go to
telling
the
you.
Dollar Tree.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Bleach.
That's why I go to the Dollar Tree.
Yeah.
That and I just.
everything's expensive.
I talked about it last week. It was coffee. I got coffee for the first time. I was like, I know
Dollar
this is
Tree.
going to taste like crap.
Yeah.
No,
It wasn't
no,
bad.
it wasn't bad. And really, the only reason it's probably because you just don't get a whole lot.
Ollie's has good coffee.
When I was at O'Reilly's last week, I was ticked because I specifically went there.
O'Reilly's.
Well, their brand
Auto
oil
parts.
is usually like $1. Like it's usually like $1 or $2. It's real cheap. So that's why I went there because I just needed a little bit of oil, and I was like, I'm just gonna go there. I don't want to spend a lot of money. They were still the cheapest oil, but it was now $5. And I was like, this is insane. And they were still the cheapest. So the Valvoline and the name brands were like $7-8 for just 1 quart. And I was like,
That's insane.
it is. I could used to
Yeah.
get 5 quarts for $15, and now they're like almost $30.
You got to get Quaker State.
Yeah, Quaker State. That's right.
The Quaker State.
But
Well,
it ticks me
all
off
right,
how
this-
much everything's gone up.
I was going to say, and I don't want to get political.
Yeah, no.
Well, I wasn't going there.
But they were doing the Kyle Rittenhouse trials going on.
Yeah,
And
I saw that
I
too.
saw bits and pieces of it, and of course, part of it took place at a gas station where there was a fire. And in one of the clips that they showed during the trial, they were showing what was going on, and the camera panned up and caught the sign for gas, and it was 209
Where?
back in August
Oh, that
of
was in August.
2020.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
It's $3.30 now.
That's freaking
Yeah.
insane.
It is. It's
Now,
ridiculous.
I was
what's,
sitting here
what's
thinking,
changed since then?
They closed down the Keystone Pipeline.
But no, I was just gonna say, I was like, throughout this whole trial, I don't care if he gets off or not. I'm like, it was 209.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, this is insane.
It made me mad when it got up to $3, but now that it's like like $3.30.
Oh, it's not done.
Yeah,
It's not done.
I'm livid. I can't. It's like
Well, I told
It'll be
Sean,
$5 a
even
gallon
with my
next year.
Kroger discount, I got 20 cents off, and I got $40 in my tank, and I only got 3/4 of a tank.
Yeah.
I drive a damn Honda. Come on, I can't even imagine
saying.
your truck.
you get. Yeah, I used to be able to fill my truck up for $50-$60. I can't do that now.
It's insane, man.
I might get 3/4 for about.
So I'm
$60.
looking for a bargain of gas. You might see me out there.
But
huffing.
yeah, I splurge when if I know, especially now, if I find a bunch of stuff cheap, it's like, well, I better get it now while it's cheap rather than later
Well, it's like
when
I
it's
go
going
to
be.
I go to some of those places like Bargain Hut
Yeah.
and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
and I see like well, I have a really bad habit of buying cables. So if I see like an HDMI cable for
hell
$1
yeah.
or $2, or the USB-C
Yeah.
charging cables, like I'll buy 10 of them things if they're $1.
Yeah.
And because we break them and lose them so
Yeah.
often
Yeah.
that it's just I don't really need them, but because they're so cheap, I'll buy them.
Well, of course.
It's
Well, and it's
kinda
like
how
I was
do it.
saying over there. It's like there's been times where I know that I've hoarded certain things for a time, and I'll go through and I'll do like a mass clean, and I'll throw something out, and I'll be like 6 months later, think, God dang it, why didn't I? Freaking keep that.
Yep.
And it's like same thing with bargains. It's like sometimes I'll go intentionally to look for one, and other times I'll be out and about, and I'll be like, oh, dang, that's a good deal.
I
can't,
do that.
Can't
sorry.
pass that up.
I wasn't trying to cut
No,
you
no,
off,
you're
but I was
good.
just saying I do the same thing with like lighters now because I used to I never bought lighters, but now I smoke cigars and pipes and even just like lighting candles or something in the house, I'll be like, I don't have a lighter. Where's a lighter?
Yeah.
So like when I see really cool design lighters, I'm like, oh, I like that. And if it's cheap, I'll buy a bunch. And now I have so many freaking lighters around my house, like I lose track of one, and then I'll find another one. Like it's like, where'd that lighter go? Lift up a cushion. Oh, here's a different one.
Oh, here's one.
I'm bargain hunting in my own house.
It's like
It's free.
It's like
I
the
could
toilet
probably
won't flush, and he lifts up the tank, and there's
There's a
there's
lighter.
5
in
lighters
there.
inside in the water tank.
It's like there's the lighter.
Yeah.
No, I will say it's not really a huge problem though for me. I mean, like, I can't say that I've ever like gone out of my way just to go buy something just because it was a good deal.
Yeah.
I think the worst I've ever done was right when Amazon started doing the same day shipping here in Louisville.
Oh yeah, well you can't do that.
Yeah,
anymore.
that's a bygone era. That's in
It
the
lasted about
past.
a year.
But but the thing is they had a $35 limit, and you had to spend $35 to get same day.
Yeah.
And it still had to be before I think like 2 p.m. So there were definitely times where I was just like, I wanted an item, but it was like maybe $20, and I was like, let's
Gotta
go on here and look for something else that'll
fill
get
up
me.
my cart,
and by
yeah.
the time I'm done, it's like $50 that I
Yeah.
bought, and
Yeah.
and literally
they were counting on that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I fell right into their trap,
Yeah.
knowing the whole time. But it was like $30 of it I didn't need, but I got some stuff that I could use.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really a bargain other than the fact that I got it that day. Like I've done some stupid stuff like that. But as far as like going out of my way to go bargain shopping, I don't know. It's not really.
I don't
been
go
my
out
thing.
of my way, but if I'm somewhere and they have stuff on sale real cheap, like I go to Ollie's and
Yeah.
sometimes like they have like the K cups real cheap.
Yeah.
It's like if I'm there and they're like
No,
you get a huge box for like
I intentionally
$2.
go to buy something. Like, I mean, I have walked out of Ollie's empty-handed, but usually if I go in there, it's either I know what I'm looking for, and if they don't have it, I'm still going to look, and I'll end up seeing another deal and going for it. Like, I went in there one day to get coffee. I ended up getting a box of K-Cups, but then I was like, oh, wow, those freaking floor mats or rugs or whatever are like
Really good deal.
$3 a piece or whatever. I'm like, I'll get those and put them on the floor so Lando doesn't slide all over the floor when
Yeah.
he's trying to walk. And it's just like, now there's rugs all over the house.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I just...
same thing.
I
I went in
just
to get
can't
pull
resist.
chemicals and walked out with the complete Walking Dead collection because they had all the because they have the like
Wow.
four omnibuses that are usually like $60 a piece and they had them for like $20 a piece. So
Wow.
for like $80 you got the entire series. So I was like,
Well, and now I will say that I am definitely a sucker for tech deals.
Yeah.
When there's technology, and that is the problem with like Amazon when they have like their Prime Day or. Here's the thing: I've never truly committed to buying a lot of crap on Prime Day.
yeah.
But I definitely get on there and peruse
Oh,
because
yeah.
Yeah.
there's often I will say like usually when they happen, I'm just in a bad spot. I don't have the money for it, so I'm just like, nah, I can't buy anything right now anyway.
Yeah.
But if there's like good 4K Blu-ray deals or something that I'm like, and I don't
You
even
haven't bought a movie in like
that's
I
the
don't
thing.
know how long.
I was gonna say
The
I don't
last
even
movie I bought was that Lord of the Rings box set. And
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
was on-
same.
That
Yeah,
was on
same.
Prime Day.
Yep, that was
and that's the weird part is it's like I hardly buy anything like that, like a hard medium. Usually it's digital, and even then I wait for those to go on sale.
well, sometimes I don't even buy that screeners.
Oh, I was talking like video games.
Yeah, no video games I
Yeah.
buy
Like
digital.
there's times where
Movies
it's
I
like
just
they
don't
just
buy.
have flash sales all the time, and I'm like, I'll just get on there and say what games, and I'll be like, oh yeah, I thought about buying that before, and it's only like
Oh,
$10,
yeah.
and they do that convenient
That's
like
how I-
60% off, and I'm like, oh, it's a hell of a deal. I got to do it
That's
now.
how I got all the Resident Evil games I bought because they were all on sale for like $5-10 each. So I was just like,
Yeah,
and I still had that $25 gift card. So I was just like 4 Resident Evil games right there.
boom, right there. They'll gladly take your money. That's where I think I'm more so in that regard. I will definitely do some bargain shopping and take advantage of it. Black Friday used to be huge into Black Friday. Loved going out at midnight and doing
Dad's
that.
real bad about it. My dad gets
Yeah.
on that Wish.com.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't mess with
And,
Wish.
oh my God. He gets on there and he'll see these things that he thinks are deals and he'll buy, and it's bulk. It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, the little wooden boxes with the spider that comes out when you slide the door open.
Yep.
I don't know how
Sawyer
many.
Shell
I don't know how many of those he has. But it's just he was like they were 50 cents on Wish but you have to buy 20. So he's got.
Why do you need
but
20
So
though?
he does. He buys. I think that's like kind of a compulsive. But yeah, I don't know how he got onto Wish.com, but he does buy a lot of stuff from China. A lot of that.
Well, I was
kind
gonna
of stuff.
say it's like the old days with the on TV when it was the 1999. Just call
yeah.
now, and we'll throw in this free hammer.
Yeah.
It's like
Well, and then,
okay,
it's
Yeah.
like, well, and I mean, this is a different situation, but it's like when your parents bought like that Boy Meets World collection. It wasn't
Yes.
often. And my mom did the same thing. She tried to buy me and David these like really nice, like it was a Green Bay Packers quilt and a Steelers quilt because he likes the Steelers, and she never got them. And then the company just like. They changed names once and then they disappeared and she couldn't contact them at all.
So BS, man.
And
Yeah,
I
that
think,
pisses
and I
me
think she
off.
found the ad on Facebook, so I think she thought it was legit, but it was still a fake company because it just goes off your cookies and
Yeah, goes
She
off your
just-
cookies.
you
never go off
Yeah.
your cookies.
never go off your cookies. But I'm just saying, like I think she thought because it was on Facebook,
Yeah.
that
No,
just
yeah.
meant it was legitimate.
No, he
Absolutely.
got an iPad off Wish.com.
Yeah?
and when it came,
It was not
it
no
was,
iPad.
it was actually it was supposed
a
to be
U-pad.
It was supposed to be a Microsoft Surface.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Like, and I'm telling you, when you look at it and hold it in your hand, it is legit. Like it feels
No
like the
way.
real Surface. But when you power it on, it ain't even got Windows on it.
No way.
It's got some cheap scrap down version of like Android, and the screen is like 480p. Like you can see the pixels. It's so terrible. It has like the keyboard that folds down. He was like, "Oh yeah, I got like this. It's like a it's a computer / tablet for $32.99.
$32?
Yeah, and it's like in the pictures it shows Microsoft Windows installed on it, and then when he got it, it doesn't have nothing on it. And he's like, "Can you figure out how to get Netflix on?" I'm like, "Dad, you can't put Netflix on that. It
won't even run.
It don't have an app store. There's no way to download.
And it's like you can't even wipe it and put it on. It doesn't even have enough RAM.
Can't do nothing to it.
I got 2 gigs of RAM.
No,
or
it takes
a gig.
like 4 minutes for it to boot up. It's just sitting there, and now it's just sitting on a table in there. He doesn't even use it.
Oh man, this is Windows 3. This is great.
Windows 3.
No, it's pretty bad though. I feel bad for. I mean, at least I will say the kind of bargain shopping where you can go and tangibly pick it up and look at it, and at least tell if it's because there's plenty of places where it's either back ordered items that got canceled or things that were open box and they got sent back, and like of course they're great deals out there. It's just sometimes you get a little carried away and you're buying stuff that you really don't need. But you're like, oh, hey, it's a deal.
I know. When those freaking Alexa Dots, when they go down to like $20,
oh yeah,
I know
you buy like
buy
4
one
of
or
them.
2 of them. Yeah, I'm gonna have one in every room except the bedroom.
Yeah,
You don't want one.
I don't want her listening to everything.
Yeah.
She already
it's
does.
like you're really you're saying Amelia, but it sounds like Alexa.
The other night we was in the bathroom. And I'm not trying to give you an image, but one of us was taking a bath, the other one was standing there talking to the other one.
Yeah.
I'll just leave it at that. My phone wasn't even near me. Her phone wasn't even near her.
Oh, we talked about this last week.
But we talked about Christmas gifts for the kids, and I said, I think the kids would be, I think they would find a laser tag, like cheap laser tag. You put the vest on.
Oh, I had them.
Run around the house,
Those are
shoot
awesome.
each other,
Yeah.
put the little targets up and shoot those.
we used to play with them.
They're
all
like
the time.
$30 on Amazon.
Fantastic.
And I was like, I think a laser tag thing would be a good idea for the boys to play together for Christmas. Sure enough, Monday morning, in my Facebook feed
Laser
was
tag.
an Amazon laser
Y'all
tag
got your
set.
mics turned on.
Telling you.
I'm
Something's-
telling you.
something's
She's
messed
listening.
up.
You all,
I think she got it through my watch.
Yeah.
She got it through my freaking watch.
Probably. I don't know what it is, but we
Laser
talked
tag.
about game controllers.
I think they knew that
This
we did,
whole
but I think
entire
they knew
week.
They were on to us. They're like, these guys are trying to catch us.
No. I'm just
Why?
saying.
I'm
I
being
didn't.
facetious.
But you all had game
I had-
controllers
I
pop
had-
up in
yeah.
your feed. Mine
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah.
My Facebook feed did not have anything
No,
regarding
I never had
PlayStation controller.
specifically the
Nothing.
Magma Red. That never happened.
No,
but
no,
I did
no.
have game controllers pop
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
And that to me would I think I got my dictation
Scuff.
turned on.
Scuff is coming out with a PS5 controller in a couple weeks. They're going to sell it for Christmas.
I still want I like the Sony made one,
man.
especially with them haptic feedback.
I would love to have one. It's going to be like $150.
I like
Is that
it.
like a pro controller
Yes.
or something? Oh wow!
Like Pro with the triggers and programmable buttons and all that
See,
crap
I
on
just-
it.
I finally-
RGB, everything. I
was gonna say I finally
I'm not gonna
turned
buy
the
one,
microphone
but-
on Alexa off because I was in my office doing my job, talking to someone on the phone whose name happened to be Alexa. And as soon as I said Alexa,
HIPAA violation.
Ooh,
it's
yep.
not because I didn't reveal anything other than just.
I know, I'm just joking.
But as soon as I said that,
But
I
it could
hear
be a HIPAA violation if Alexa hears something.
as
what I'm
soon
saying.
as
She's listening
As
to
soon
you.
as I said that part of the name Alexa, she popped up in the bathroom because that's where I had her. Because when I'm in the shower, I listen to podcasts.
Yes.
And I was just like, dang it, shut up.
And then the patient was just, excuse me? Shut up, Alexa. Not you. Sorry.
Not you. Sorry.
I didn't even say it was a patient. I just said the person I was talking to was named Alexa.
I'm sorry. I just did a HIPAA violation. No, I didn't. All right.
That's it. That's gonna do it for this. So
it's a
tell
wrap.
us. Tell us if you bargain hunt and bargain shop.
I bargain hunt.
Yeah.
Bargain hunts ketchup. It's better than Heinz.
Actually, I would agree with that. I prefer Hunt's over Heinz.
I just get Kroger. It's $1 for
True.
a bottle.
What is it? A tomato
ketchup, dude.
paste. I hate
ketchup.
the
No,
fact
no.
that they ever throw paste in
Kroger's
the
got
name.
the 50% less sugar ketchup too in their own brand.
Ooh, gotta get that sugar
good.
free, you know?
It's good. Better for you.
There you go.
What's the Walmart has a $1 one too? Is it the Psst, or is that Kroger?
No, yeah. Whoever the brand is, it's awful.
That's Kroger.
I think the only thing that was decent. She always does this at the end
At
of the
the
show,
end, she's like, "Oh hey,"
and it's always you. She ends up going to you.
Oh, shit.
Oh, look at the puppers.
She's like, "It's my show now."
Oh no,
Nope,
she's,
nope, nope,
she's
nope,
down.
My
Nope,
show
nope,
now.
Now she's over to Sean.
I don't put up with it like Keith does.
Oh,
Get down.
Eat
I
that
tried to
tail.
call her over
Eat
here.
that tail. Eat that tail.
I thought you said something else.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of the podcast. Thank you all so much for tuning in. As you
she
can
brought
do,
a rope. She's like, "I'm ready to play,
she's
guys."
ready to play. As you can do every single week, as always, right there at the bottom of your screen, Red Moon Book, Red Moon Tweet, Red Moon Picks, and just search for Red Moon Productions on YouTube. All of our socials right there. You can like, share, subscribe. We appreciate all the love and support. But also, if you're a little old-fashioned, you can email us. RMPodcast
Email.
at redmoonproductions.com.
What?
It's that simple.
RMPodcast at redmoonproductions.com.
Just so beautiful. So beautiful.
I think you should definitely mention what film we're going to be reviewing.
Oh, yeah,
I
we
think you're right.
should.
I think you're right. Next week, the big one on the block, Eternals.
Yeah, it would be interesting. 'cause
Marvel's
there's,
next film
there's
after
already a lot of
Shang-Chi.
mixed buzz going around, so we'll see.
There
We'll
have
let you
been
know what we
mixed
feel
reviews,
about it.
so we'll give you our official review next week. But until then, guys, that's going to do it for this episode. I am one of your hosts, Brandon Davidson, alongside our normal new host,
Sean Sebastian.
And...
It's B. Pagels Minor.
Oh!
We hope you enjoyed this week's episode. For more reviews, previous podcast shows, and everything Red Moon, visit our website, redmoonproductions.com. You can also like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter by searching for Red Moon Productions, LLC. We'll see you at the movies.